Hey folks, Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get on into our programming, we do have some I have some folks I need to thank, and first and foremost, I need to thank IndieCD. So our good friends over at Independent Creator Directory, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. It is slowly coming back to life. Joe has been working tirelessly, and I am impressed with that. Also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of our ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals designed to help you go from having never handled the sword to teaching the art to others. And my patrons, Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald, Riehn, Bladed Thesis, Brian, K. Morris, Cindy, Koepp, Steve Augusta, Don Dulas, Angelina, Vaquera-Linke, Joe, and Trilaina Bachman, Richard, Asplund, and the incomparable Cat Rothermel. Without your kind donations, I would not be able to order what I do to pass things along, and I am incredibly thankful for that. I wanted to take, and of course, Botrix has correctly joined the channel, but I wanted to take some time and just talk about some things I am actually very thankful for. Before we get into the Black Friday stuff, because there's still some time to get some actually good deals you may have missed. Let's see. The world of what we do is not easy. It's not quick, and it takes a lot of time and dedication. And I have been doing this for a quarter of a century. Developing and teaching a simple, adaptive style, usually to non-traditional students, making do with what we have, making training fields out of, acquired scrap, homemade trainers, armor from, everything from yard sales to, hand-carved leather. But this journey for me is something I do need to talk about, because it has allowed me to meet some of the most incredible, amazing, and frankly, beautifully souled people in the world. And I did not do what I do or develop in a vacuum in any way, shape, or form. I think about the folks who I trained under, who I trained alongside, the ones who I learned from in spite of their natures, in spite of my nature. And I don't drop a lot of names. And I am appreciative. And it doesn't always get said, but in a very, starting off dark, we'll start dark and kind of lighten up as we go. In a very dark way, I have to cite my original instructor, whom I learned a vast amount from, and then more importantly learned what I didn't want to be, who I didn't want to be. And from there, I could choose to make a better path. And because, I must admit this, okay, because of the innate viciousness, the innate cruelties, and unbearable bigotry that I witnessed, it triggered something in me that has fueled me to this day of wanting to be able to help people that others might disregard, might mistreat. It gave me a direction to walk toward, because when I took up fencing, historic fencing, which is the realm I studied, when I took it up, it was to take my anger, to take my emotions, and make them into something else, to prevent myself from becoming who I could be. And in the course of that, with assorted training swords, I was able to carve out a pretty incredible life. I was able to be of service to people and do things I would have never imagined. So, excluding people who don't deserve names, I want to put a shout out to Dennis Yakis, my first sword master. I learned so much from him. And even if we had falling outs again, I learned a great deal from that man. Mostly to not give myself any excuses, because if Dennis did it, I had no room not to. I wanted to huge shout out to Jody Houghton. Jody, she went by another name when I first met her, so that's what I have her registered as. But I learned so much about fighting women against Jody and from Jody. And her eventual husband, Bob Houghton. They're good people. They're within a group I cannot, in good conscience, be a member of, as it would both, I believe, detrimental to my mental health. There's a tragedy in that. But Bob gave me not only someone who was much more faster and ruthless, and you need that. You need opposition. I literally have so many their name, but Kim Spring. It's all Chris. Who Spencer? I'm pretty sure he quit. What, like, instructor wise, Miner, for again, people have differences, but I learned so much from John Miner, and working with John Miner for adjusting and helping people stronger than me. my memory. So occasionally have difficulty, but over Trilaina. I've never ever or sync. When my days got dark, two people were beside me. Just oh, my lovely wife, Amanda. To this day, I rely upon. I, God, we're going on 25 years. Quick, we just hit 23. Yeah, we hit 23 married. It did not take long for us to go from dating to engaged, and friend to dating, dating to engaged, because we just knew. But other people who've come through, and many people I've trained with, some stayed for a little while, some stayed for years, some got busy, some left. People like the incomparable James Robertson, you can find through these, him and his colleagues, and we exchanged ideas and stress tested each other's ideas more than a gentleman on YouTube known as Sword Sage. He and I epic battles, and they were glorious. Jesse Tibbetts, who's not with us and has not been with us for a very long time, but not a week goes by. He, but as through the armoring would not be otherwise equipped, and I learned a lot. Uh, called each other. For Nieberg. That hear from him because he's a very busy man. Ernie reminds me to keep, because and move on. And of course, Trilaina's. I still don't. So many of the people I taught were ashamed that they were learning from you know, other Kim and Jong had them. So I am sorry. We uh, yes, and I was Professor Peter, Lady Z, other instructor, but it runs parallel. I wouldn't, and I would have been able to help. And if I've been out of touch, I don't like to drop names too much unless it's very necessary for the conversation. Because there were a lot of heavy fighters that I worked with, and a lot of them that showed me things. Again, John Miner. I learned a bit from watching Dale Dreesen. Uh, History for Mikey and I, but uh, the only thing you can do is train with people, learn with them, embrace them as they come into your life, and let them go as they leave. Because I've never claimed to be a trainer. I teach the basics, but I teach the basics to anyone under any circumstance, and I find a way. Pete Pidrak. The only one I did house calls for to work with him and his kids. And down at the bottom are these people, and they're amazing people. And many of them I've worked with. Joe Bachman. Joe is the glue that holds a whole lot of things together. I could not be on the internet without Joe Bachman in my life. I just couldn't. I don't think the Nick Field would tolerate it. I would not be where I am without his generosity. And I need to especially shout out Brian K. Morris because he was transformative on my online life in ways I don't think I can even measure yet. I need 20 more years to look back to understand. But there are a lot of people in the background who I get to talk to, I get to help, I get to redirect. And I have these people, and among them, I need to shout out Steve Agosto. It's going right there. There you are, Steve. That name. And Richie too. Richard Asplund, training him and training with his child before his child changed their name and pronouns. Yeah, I'll even say shout out to her too. Everybody has to have at least one her, and I've got a couple in my life for one reason or another. Shout out to her. But no, Steve. Steve was my first patron, and when I was doing this, because I've come back doing this, I've had to come back, not related to this, but I had to come back from double hernia surgery. I've had to come back from the paralysis diagnosis, the spinal difficulties, the nerve damage in the legs, broken hands, broken arms, broken elbows, broken, torn away ribs, bruises aplenty. But it's always been made possible what I am able to do when I am able to be generous, either with my time or with equipment or with passing skills on, has been made possible by a world of kindness that is out there. And I am so incredibly thankful. Currently, I am so incredibly thankful to my regulars who usually end up on my other shows, but this program unfortunately conflicts with a social gathering known as the Green Room. And it's a Discord gathering that's very beneficial for a lot of people. So Carl and Donna Witzman are the host and hostess of such. And, I want to put a huge shout out to them and a huge congratulations on 35 years of marriage and happy birthday, Donna. But if we are to continue, we need to talk about a few things. And I'm going to keep doing what I can. This has been a very rough year for me. The incident that led to both my ankles being dislocated and several other pieces of damage involved a lot of trauma that it's not appropriate for me to vent here, but recovery has been long and difficult. And the injuries that these are still sprained. I slightly overdid it carrying some things, so I'm back to needing these for a bit while I try to heal up, and this weather's just not helping. But I had dark days when I lost just about everything. I mean, jobs, homes, friendship, identity, titles, prestige, the groundwork of years of service due to slander. And I will never forget on my darkest day when I got up and my incredible wife got up with me to leave a meeting. And Trilaina got up with us. And to her, she still talks of it as a minor thing. But it is such a privilege to know someone of such integrity, talent, grace in form and function. And to, in the same life, have a wife like mine, who right now is tinkering with a bit of a loom, doing some fiber arts because it's cold and be cozy. But when I met her, she was a Norman and a bit of a hellraiser, a barbarian librarian, a man at arms, to men with far more prestige and wealth, but definitely her inferior in integrity and nobility. I watched her fight with honor in a world and a system that did not approve and shoulder the blows. You don't see somebody go through that sort of thing and not be inspired. So I'm incredibly thankful for her in my life. And I'm incredibly thankful that despite my disability, through what I've written and published and what I intend to write and publish further, it might shock you, but it's hard to type like this for any measure of time. And my attempts have inflamed things, so I want you guys to understand. You can't do it alone. No one is a solitary practitioner. And you will learn from teachers who become colleagues and friends. You will learn from students who become colleagues and friends. And you will learn from the people that life, either personal differences or changes in attitude or changes in location, pull from you. But you learn. And they are good and noble people. And if you can find them, the right ones will help you build a life. I take people's privacy very serious. And a large number of the students I've helped, because in certain circles I have a less than stellar reputation, I'm hesitant to drop names of those who couldn't, who might be yet affected by the radioactivity involved. Metaphorically, of course. But I am grateful to you. And I hope more than anything, I have been of use. That in my time, both in your lives and on your screens, what I do has brought you some kind of value. So, from the bottom of my heart, from all the active folks in the Historical Fencing Guild, the people you may see in the bouts, the people who you'll hopefully see in future bouts, as soon as I get my mask replaced, I want to thank you. Okay? You guys, the folks I can be of service to, people like, Cindy Koepp and Ronald Riehn and a few others that I know intimately have had the privilege to be of aid. I cannot thank you enough for what you do. Now, after all that sappy stuff, well, let's get to some more fun stuff. We're going to bring up, there's a deal we need to talk about, friends. So we're going to do this. Yeah, we'll leave it like this. Right now, this trainer that is normally $44.99, it is one of the best trainers I've ever held for if you're not sure what you're going to fight, if you go to Deal of the Day right now, they're $13. Now, I know they'll still be shipping, so they may be $25, but this is ridiculously cheap. And this is a chance to support an American company, a small business instead of a large business, to upgrade you, your friends. Had I the 130 plus shipping and handling, I would probably buy about 10 of them. I'm not even facetious. It is a staggeringly good deal. And it expires tonight. So if you miss this, I'm sorry. We've got some time delay material. But I really wanted you to see that. And there are some other very nice deals of the day. That bear watching. Chiefly the Arnis, the Chris Dagger, and the Daga trainer are both. That's ridiculously cheap for what they are. But the if you have a sword person in your life, getting them the cuts of Meyer and Fiore and Marozol. I can't. My speech impediment is getting me today. I am sorry. This is amazing stuff, and it supports a really great business. But right now, this is insane. So I wanted you to see that. And that's the good stuff. Here's the horror that is going to haunt me. Some lunatic said, let's take a Kit Ray sword and make it a polypropylene trainer. Now, it is marginally improved in that the creepy, rattly skull of this wall hanger is compressed flat, basically, to be more of an embossed, raised situation. But it is absolutely hideous. So, that being said, the Lord of the Rings greatsword trainer is going for $24.99, and I am in shock. I am basically shook that that's in existence at that price. So I would recommend snagging that if you're interested in greatswords. There's just no better deal on the market. Sorry, let me see. I'm trying to go past the deals, quote unquote, that aren't time sensitive, that are standard. The Cold Steel Buckler for $29.73 is a great deal. Don't buy this because the weight of that hammer is too dangerous. That's going to hurt somebody. $10.19 for these spearheads is insane. Just get those. That's a decent dagger. I am tempted to snag one of those. I am very tempted, but that's regular price, to get the two basically K-bars and use those for training. I'm trying to remember what other deals I stumbled across that really need mention when I'm going through this list. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to kind of kick through it because I'm running on about an hour and a half of sleep at a total of maybe 8 in the last 48 hours. So the tired is becoming a real thing. But there are, for your prop guys, there are some really good trainers. Let's see. There was one, and they've moved around since I went on here, so you have to bear with me. Guts fans, you know who you are. I will tell you, I have 2 of these. That is their normal price, but I drill with them every single day. They are my current go-to drillers. These guys are great. Again, they're not on sale. I'm trying to find things that are genuinely on sale today. Oh, did I miss something? Actually, I know I missed something. Did I? Why did that disappear? Skip that garbage. We'll go to 3. The Cold Steel Mini Buckler. If you want a small buckler, that's not a bad price for the little guy. Skipping that again, because that bar is always the Garbage Life Steel. They've rearranged things, so I'm a little lost because I had literally, right before this stream, picked up some things and went, here, you need this, you need this. That katana is a decent price, but it doesn't come with a sheath, and I really do prefer you guys, if possible, pay out for one that comes with a sheath so you can practice from the draw. There was something. Let me see. I am tempted with those gloves. They look better than some, but I'm not going to rush glove purchases, even if it means paying more later. Let's see. I know I had seen some sales related to what we do. And it's like, I didn't see that there's a shield and a small sword deal for 80. That is actually a very nice deal, but I am not seeing what I was looking for. And I'm a little problematic by that. So give me a second, and what I will do is I will come here and I'm going to make myself, full size, because I need to check a list, but I don't necessarily want all my lists to be aired, because some of these things are potential Christmas presents, and I need to see if I can find. Alrighty, we've got. This is a great one if you want a Odachi. So I'm, an Odachi length trainer for 35 is basically, this is at 39, it's insane. If I were outfitting anyone over 6 foot tall, I would get them one of these. So the short Dow, I don't know if Cindy Koepp is watching, but I think that a set of these would be very good for our senior practitioner. And there's a longer, but I would go for the 30-inch ones for Cindy by eyeballing, height and things. So let me do this, because there was a set, and I'm not seeing it. I'm getting a little alarmed. So please bear with me. There we go. I wanted to point out that this set for 80 is a bit spicy, but if you break it down to 40 a piece, it's suddenly not that bad. For a surprisingly nice little short sword and a shield I would love to beat the tar out of just to try. Now, you can get the shield for 70, but why wouldn't you spend the money to get the kit that comes with the extra blade for $10 more? It would be insane. You guys don't need to see. That's really weird. Because I was going to show some spears that were for sale, and they appear to have disappeared. And that's very interesting, because I saw them moments ago, but now they are literally all gone. So I don't know where they went, so we're just going to go my browsing history, because it should show up, and it is really not. That's weird. Well, I was worried a little bit ago that if somebody had seen that, it would out a Christmas present, but I don't have to worry about that. Yes, actually, y'all, hold on. There are two versions of this trainer, and one is inside and one is outside, basically for length. But you see this part, you didn't see that part. Capiche? That part has nothing to do with anything, right? Right. I haven't seen good armor deals anywhere. The CX trainer, great deal. Great little sword. A very practical little sword. 11 inches of blade puts it closer to even what I would consider a dagger, but it depends on the right wielder. So I wanted to let you guys know I'd found those deals for Black Friday. You still have a few hours. My area says you'd have about 3. I have one person watching, and assuming that that's not the bot that's counting, let's see. Hi, maybe it is. I just want to say thank you guys who catch this in the rerun. I am very appreciative of all my viewers. I'm very appreciative of, am I appreciative of Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald, Rain, Bladed Thesis, Brian Gamer, Cindy Cat, Steve Augusto, Don Dulas, who is an angel, Angelina Vaquera-Linke, Joe and Trilaina Bachman, Richard Asplund, and Kat Rothermel. Also, huge shout out to the lovely and incomparable Robin the Lilac Bunny. I had to remember her online handle because I know her by her name. Huge shout out to you for your support over the years and some of the things you've commissioned. Guys, please shop small if you do. Please be kind to each other. Please do your drills. Keep your eyes open. I just want to thank you for all the support you give me. So I'm not just sitting here speaking into the void. Then again, maybe I... but not on me. That sounds like something I'm going to have to deal with if you heard it rattling through. So guys, stay warm, stay safe. I love you, and you should too, kids. We'll see you next week for a more traditional program. Please don't buy the Kit Ray garbage. If you do go to Purple Heart Armory, please use the link in the description. I get like a 3% kick for what you spend. It helps the channel. Thank you. Good night.